Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Welcome to the American Legion Post 440. Today is Veterans Day, and the City of Newton's observance begins now. Honor guard, post the colors.
Honor guard, attention! All word, hook!
May I ask you all, and those of you able to stand, to please rise and remain standing for our presentation of the colors, Pledge of Allegiance from our Scout Troops 209 and 355, the singing of our national anthem from Casey Wong, our junior at Newton North High School, and the opening benediction from our chaplain, Jack Stone.
Honor guard, halt! Fire honor guard, left, face!
We'll now call up Casey Wong to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, as well as also our national anthem. All right, Scouts. Heavy hearts. I. Flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Casey.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, out!
Detail may post, as well as the Scouts as well. Please remain standing. Honor guard, post. We'll now call up our chaplain for our opening benediction, Chaplain Jack Stone.
One step, mark. Right, face. All word, hooked.
Has him show this. Detail uncover. Dear Lord, today we honor our veterans, worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve their country. We pray that you bless them, Lord, and you unleash service or struggle to preserve our freedoms, our safeties, and our country's heritage. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
Please take your seats.
Vincent, may I have the raffle box?
There we go. Thank you so much. Good morning, and again, a warm welcome to all guests, dignitaries, residents, and our cherished veteran community. We have a full morning of goodwill, reverence, and tradition. You can follow our observance with the program you received upon entering. First order of business. I will conduct our raffle for our outstanding donation drive. It's wonderful that we have this whole ceremony in here today so you can see all of the donations and the fruits of our labor over here to my right, your left, with Wendy from Operation American Soldier. Over the past few months, as we've known that my dear friend, Chief George McMains, is retiring soon, I've had the pleasure of facilitating a few events with him, and seeing that he's on his way out for his retirement, and I'm not really all that associated with the police department, this is my last chance to engage with Chief George McMains, my brother in arms in the United States Marine Corps, and I'm going to let the Chief pick today's raffle prize. You're looking at me, I trust you. Ticket number 380, final three numbers, is 380. So if you have that, you can see me or the chief after the ceremony is completed. I'll hold on to this. Thank you. So that was my outstanding attention gainer. Big thank you to Cell Phones for Soldiers and Operation American Soldier, as I had mentioned. You might also notice our four-legged friends from the Service Dog Project. Thank you to them. We have Pecan, Peanut, and I believe Quinn is also in the house. So they are walking about. Make sure you say hello. Also, a quick thank you to Pam McVeigh and her students from the Borough Elementary School for their personal thank yous and notes to our veterans. It's heartfelt, and they do this every year. We deeply appreciate that. All right. So, while I have your attention, it is my responsibility to read the Governor's Proclamation. A proclamation. Whereas since the Commonwealth's early days, thousands of men and women have served our country in defense of freedom and liberty. And whereas on November 11th, 1918, after 4 years of conflict, the armistice was signed in the forest of Compiègne by the Allied nations and Germany, ending World War I, the war to end all wars. And whereas that day, every November, people from around the nation have gathered to honor our veterans. And whereas in November 2025, the world will commemorate the 107th anniversary of the armistice that ended the fighting in World War I at 11 a.m., November 11th, 1918. The 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. And whereas there are approximately 300,000 veterans living in Massachusetts, and whereas in recognition of their sacrifices made by those who have served our great nation, Massachusetts remains committed to supporting its veterans community through the HERO Act, honoring, empowering, and recognizing our service members and veterans. And whereas today we are reminded of the great sacrifices and contributions our veterans have made to our country, and whereas we honor and salute those who served our country throughout the generations with honor, patriotism, and courage, and whereas it is appropriate that all Massachusetts residents remember the bravery of those who served their country so that their dedication and sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. Now, therefore, I, Maura T. Healy, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim November 11th, 2025 to be Veterans Day, and urge all residents of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston this 11th day of November in the year 2025 and of the independence of the United States of America, 214th. Thank you very much. Before I introduce our two speakers today, it's important that we stop and recognize that we are being hosted here today. So this is a great time for me to introduce to you the commander of the Post 440, United States Army veteran, Newton firefighter, our Donnie Gentile.
It's tough to follow somebody really tall. Anyway, I really want to thank you people for coming. A lot of people have put a lot of work into this, and I'm glad to see that we have a full house. So I just want to welcome you to 440. It's my pleasure to be the commander here on a particular day like this. I do have some housekeeping to do, though, however. Unfortunately, the flag retirement that usually precedes this is not going to take place today because of the high winds, and it's a little chilly out there. So it's been rescheduled for June 14th. I remembered, see? June 14th, which is Flag Day. So pay attention to the notices that go out around the 1st of June, and we'll do it then. Thank you for coming. Thank you, all the guests.
Thank you, Commander. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got two outstanding speakers today. One is to my immediate right, and that's my Commander-in-Chief, the Honorable Ruthanne Fuller, and to my left is our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Giovanna DeVito. We'll first start off by receiving our remarks from our Honorable Mayor, our beloved Ruthanne Fuller.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, 107 years ago, the guns fell silent on the Western Front as the Allies and Germany signed the armistice that ended the fighting in Europe in World War I. Each year at that hour and on that date, we gather here at the American Legion Post 440 in Anthem to remember and to honor, and to ensure that we never forget. And we never do because of the people in this room. Post 440 Commander Donnie Gentile, Auxiliary President Donna Forte Cottons, Sons of the Legion Commander Dave Snyder, Director of Veteran Services Seth By, and every one of you here today, you make sure that we always remember. And you make sure that we always remember the true meaning of service. You never let us forget the sacrifices, the adversity, the loneliness, the life-altering injuries, some which are visible and others invisible. You never let us forget the loss endured by those who have faithfully and valiantly served our nation in times of war and in times of peace, nor especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice. For 16 years, I've had the privilege of standing with you, and I am forever moved by your devotion. And it's your devotion not only on this day or on a Memorial Day or a Flag Day, but every day. Your devotion to those who have worn the uniforms of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, National Guard, and now the Space Force. And I've got to sneak this in. Happy birthday to the Marines. Who are you a Marine? Give a wave. Number 250. With all of you leading the way, we honor our relatives, our friends, our neighbors who have served, including my dad, Alan Schwartz, who served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. We honor Americans by birth and by choice, Americans of every race, background, and faith, all who have raised their right hand and taken that solemn oath to defend our democracy, our freedom, and the Constitution of the United States. Today, we also honor someone whose service and leadership touched this community deeply, Mayor Seth Warren, a Navy veteran who served a year in Iraq as a naval intelligence specialist. Seth came home to lead the city he loved. He was literally devoted to the public, and he believed profoundly in the power of the government and the armed forces as a force for good. So we lost him just 9 days ago. It was sudden, it was tragic. So I ask that we just pause for a second, send some prayers to him and to his family. Thank you. May I ask the veterans in the room to please stand if they are able, or to raise their hand so that we can recognize you. To each of you, you may be seated. We honor your service, your sacrifice, your courage, and that you keep reminding us what patriotism truly means. I thank some of the people who have also joined us today. Our two state representatives are here right close to the front row. Representative Amy Sangiolo and Representative Greg Schwartz. We have the President Emeritus with us. Hold your applause. Wait till we get through, all the way through, okay? President Emeritus Lyle Baker, a veteran. We have city councilors. I believe I saw Leary, Oliver, Lucas, Malachi, Wright, Getz, and Danberg. And I know we have, I believe, 3 of our counselors-elect in the room, Irish, Dumabad, and Roach. We have our fire chief, Greg Gentile is here. We have our police chief, who's double-hatted today, George McMains. Thank you, Paula Gannon, for being here, our Director of Cultural Development. I want to reiterate what Seth said. I really thank Casey. You have such a beautiful voice. Thank you. You're amazing. To our many Newton Scouts, It really makes a difference to us that you are here, and I hope perhaps you take away even more a love of our country. To our chaplain, Jack Stone, our police and fire honor guard, thank you. So our veterans embody the best of America. Not self, but country, aiming high, always ready and always faithful, defending and preserving the United States of America. Your sacrifice is not forgotten. Your service is honored. Your courage is remembered, and your example continues to inspire. Thank you. God bless to our veterans, and God bless to the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mayor Fuller. And yes, she did mention in the beginning, she is a very proud Navy daughter. I will now call upon our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Giovanna DeVito, active duty United States Navy, currently serving aboard the U.S. Pentagon right now. Lieutenant?
Thank you, Seth, for having me today, and thank you to the Newton Veterans Services Department for hosting a beautiful ceremony. I was born and raised here in Newton with my parents and my 3 younger siblings, and my grandparents, Alfonso and Jenny DeVito, who lived here in Anthem. I am honored to stand before you today to commemorate the 250-year legacy of our nation and its service members. Good morning to our distinguished guests, Newton residents, families, but most importantly, to my fellow service members and veterans. A very special welcome to my great uncle Tony, who's 98 years old, a Navy veteran from World War II. This morning, we reflect on the courage, sacrifice, and commitment that binds generations of the American military. Veterans Day began as Armistice Day, marking the end of World War I, just like we had said, on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. In 1919, President Wilson declared, "The reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory." The President, for the first time, officially recognized the courage and sacrifice for all who fought and were lost in service to our country. Veterans Day is a reminder that our service is part of the 250-year history of our nation. We remember those that gave everything, the members of our military who could not grow old because they offered their lives in defense of their loved ones and their values. Many in this room know at least one of those heroes, young men and women who gave their lives, not in service of an individual or an administration, but to the Constitution of the United States of America and the people of our beloved country. Our history was written in the determination of those who fought for a new nation during the Revolutionary War, the courage of the sailors and soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy, and the grit of those who patrolled the deserts and the mountains. Every Veterans Day, when I was at the Naval Academy, we would read a Medal of Honor recipient's citation before we started school. This morning, I'd like to share the story of Lieutenant Commander Thomas Gunning Kelly, born and raised here in Massachusetts. In June 1960, Kelly joined the United States Navy and served as a surface warfare officer. When the war in Vietnam began, he volunteered to serve in the Mobile Riverine Force. On June 15, 1969, Kelly led an 8-river assault craft boats on a mission to extract an Army infantry company from the bank of a canal in South Vietnam. When one of his boats malfunctioned, he ordered his own assault craft to circle the disabled boat that had come under heavy enemy fire. Kelly placed his boat directly in the line of fire, and when a rocket-propelled grenade struck his craft, severely injuring Kelly, he continued to protect his men until they could get to safety. Only when he knew his men were safe did he then order medical assistance for himself. For this act of valor, he was awarded the Medal of Honor. As active duty service members, we honor those that served before us. Kelly's sacrifice and dedication to duty demonstrate the true meaning of service. Our history lives through every veteran who returned home to find their place again, carrying the memories of war and choosing to keep serving their country and communities in new ways. Their example teaches us that service is not just about the job that we do or the rank that we hold. It's about the values that we do uphold: duty, integrity, honor, respect, and commitment. Today, as we honor our veterans, we reaffirm our commitment to earn their legacy. Their sacrifices are remembered not only during Veterans Day, but also in how we live our lives, through gratitude, respect, and service to others. To the veterans here with us today, thank you. Thank you for your courage, your devotion, your example. You've shown us what it means to serve something greater than yourself. Finally, let us remember that Veterans Day is not just about looking back. It's about looking forward. It's about ensuring that the values our veterans fought for continue to guide us as a nation. May we always be worthy of their legacy. May we continue to serve in uniform or out with the same honor, courage, and commitment. Thank you, and may God bless our veterans, our service members in the United States of America.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you to both of our ladies for those thoughtful remarks. This now brings us to the segment where we recognize our distinguished honorees, and I will read the commendations from the podium as Mayor Fuller, and it looks like our host, Commander Gentile, will be assisting her from my right, your left, as we will start with the United States Navy and Enoch. United States Marine Jim Caudill regrets he could not make it today. He hopes to be here next year. Boatswain's Mate Third Class Enoch Caudill for the service to America in the United States Navy and the American Legion Auxiliary Post 440. Enoch Caudill was born in Dayton, Ohio, and arrived in Boston, Massachusetts in November 1968, straight out of basic training. He was assigned to a heavy cruiser, the USS Boston, CA-69, and achieved the rank of Boatswain's Mate Third Class. He served 2 tours in Vietnam and was honorably discharged in February of 1973. Enoch describes his time in the Navy as some of the greatest years and most meaningful experiences of his life. The Navy gave him opportunity, knowledge, and confidence. Even though they were at war, he found faith in humanity, value in the order of command, and respect toward older veterans that he had known coming home, and he knew that he would love the service forever. He wanted to impart to the community that what they did and what they learned in Vietnam had purpose. Enoch Caudill was a proud U.S. Navy veteran and is currently the Junior Vice Commander of the Post 440 Legionnaires, and in 2025, he also became the Post 440's Auxiliary's first male member, qualifying as a spouse of a veteran, Helen. Enoch and his wife Helen are actively involved with the American Legion Post 440. They help with fundraisers, volunteer at food banks, and contribute to the local community in their events.
They are currently working on a uniform display here at the post. Each summer, they travel to Enoch's Navy ships reunions. On a personal note, Enoch is the 23rd of his father's 25 children, and one of 16 who survived past the age of 2. Enoch himself is the father of 6, grandfather of 6, and great-grandfather of 5. In recognition of his service to the United States, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Enoch Caudill. And Lieutenant Thomas A. Fitzgerald for his service to the United States of America and the United States Army. Tom Fitzgerald, a longtime resident of Newton, grew up in southern New Jersey, and following his graduation from high school, enlisted in the United States Army in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, January of 1970. Upon completing basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey, Thomas received an assignment at Fort Devens, Massachusetts, where he served with distinction. Thomas' next assignment brought him to Fort Knox, Kentucky, where he attended armor school and achieved the rank of specialist while serving with the 1st Armor Division in tank operations. In July of 1971, Thomas began officer candidate school at Fort Benning, Georgia. Graduated in January of 1972 after OCS, he completed airborne training at Fort Benning and was subsequently assigned to a specialized infantry activities unit at the same installation. In that capacity, Thomas led a team of soldiers serving as liaisons to a civilian think tank focused on psychological and data-driven analytics designed to deter guerrilla warfare in Vietnam. Thomas concluded his distinguished military service in the Human Resources Division with an honorable discharge from the United States Army in 1973. Thomas briefly lived in California while attending Stanford University. In 1976, he moved to Boston to attend Harvard Business School. Thomas settled in Newton in 1980 and has lived here with his wife and 3 children ever since. In recognition of his service to the United States, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Lieutenant Thomas A. Fitzgerald. Thomas. Commendation, Jade Luongo. Jade works across the street from me at the Newton Cemetery and Arboretum. Since joining Newton Cemetery and Arboretum in 2014, Jade Luongo has been a cornerstone of both its operation and its customer service. Starting as an administrative assistant, she quickly became the welcoming face of the Newton Cemetery, supporting the bereaved, funeral directors, visitors, and the staff with warmth, empathy, and efficiency. Whether guiding a visitor to a loved one's grave or helping a family navigate burial arrangements, Jade's dedication has never wavered. Jade has provided distinguished service to honoring veterans, collaborating closely with the City of Newton's Veteran Service Officer, Seth. Jade has helped facilitate dozens of burials in the City of Newton's veterans lots, coordinated hundreds of headstones and markers and orders through the Veterans Administration, and supported Memorial Day flag placement efforts by pinpointing exact grave locations. Her work ensures that no veteran is ever forgotten. In 2022, Jade was promoted to the accounting administrator, where she now manages billing, monthly reconciliations, and financial reporting, all while continuing to provide exceptional customer service as a backup to the administrative team. Jade's formal education is in art, and she's a self-taught naturalist with a deep knowledge of birds, insects, and the local flora. Her daily walks through the cemetery reflect her reverence for its landscape, which she sees as a living gallery. Art in the landscape. Her blend of operational excellence, historical knowledge, natural curiosity, and dedication to service makes her not only indispensable, but also a wonderful partner. In recognition of her service to veterans, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Jade Luongo. Madam Mayor, Commander, to my left. Commendation. Newton Police Chief George McMains for service to America and the United States Marine Corps. Chief George McMains began his service to our nation by enlisting in the United States Marine Corps in 1989. After completing boot camp, he was assigned to military occupational specialty in electronics, which led him to the Naval Air Technical Training Center at Naval Air Station, Memphis, Tennessee. Upon graduating from his rigorous program, Chief McMains was designated as Aircraft Electronic Countermeasures Systems Technician and assigned to Marine Tactical Electronic Warfare Squadron VMAQ-2 at Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, North Carolina. Shortly after arriving at Cherry Point, Chief McMains deployed with VMAQ-2 in support of Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm. He was stationed in Sheikh Issa Air Base in Bagram in Bahrain. During his deployment, he was temporarily reassigned through the Fleet Assistance Program to a military police unit where he provided vital base security. Following his return from the Gulf, Chief McMains was reassigned through the Fleet Assistance Program, this time to serve as the Cherry Point Range as a primary marksmanship instructor and ammunition technician. He spent the final 18 months of his enlistment with VMAQ-2 serving at locations around the world to include Japan, Norway, the Philippines, and several bases across the United States. Chief McMains honorably concluded his service to the United States Marine Corps at the rank of corporal. In recognition of his service to the United States, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Newton Police Chief George McMains. Of course. Lydia, you're next. Lydia O'Day, for service to veterans and the American Legion Auxiliary Post.
How about we come down to you? How about that?
Lydia O'Day has been devoted to veterans programs since she met her husband John in 1980. John had been a U.S. Army paratrooper with the 173rd Airborne in Vietnam. Together, they were involved in many of the programs at the American Legion Post and VFW in Dedham, Massachusetts. They have loved going to and supporting a wide variety of events and programs. After moving to Auburndale, Lydia supported many Gold Star Mothers programs with her new friend and neighbor, Nikki Likely. She was also active with the Newton YMCA, the Senior Center, the Silvertones, and the Cat Connection. Lydia would often bring her Boston Terrier, Penny, to visit the residents at assisted living homes in Newton just to say hello. When Lydia and John attended the American Legion Post 440's 40th anniversary of Vietnam War dinner, they joined the American Legion Post 440. Since then, Lydia has been nonstop in helping with veteran programs and community causes. Lydia truly cares about the commitment to her and the nonprofit community organizations she believes in. She believes that we, the people of this country, owe a debt to our U.S. military. They are the ones who protect us, without question at home and abroad, so that we can wake up every day without fear. They deserve a great deal of respect, not just the veterans, but the many members currently active. In recognition of her service to veterans, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Lydia O'Day. Lieutenant Philip A. Samath Mary, for his service to America in the United States Army and the Jewish American War Veterans, Newton Brookline Post 211. Philip Zathmary attended Boston Public Schools and graduated from Boston Latin School. He moved to Newton in 1961 and lived in Newton for over 60 years. Philip attended Northeastern University, majoring in electrical engineering, where he received his degree and a commission as a second lieutenant in the Army Reserve through the ROTC program. Philip attended Ordnance Branch training at the Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland and was immediately reassigned to the United States Army Tank and Automotive Command in Warren, Michigan, as an automatic data systems analyst. Shortly after the Tet Offensive, Philip received orders and was reassigned to Vietnam. Once there, he was sent to the 25th Infantry Division based in Chu Chai. As the Divisional Technical Supply Platoon Leader, Philip was responsible for maintaining the division's supply facility, which contained more than 4,000 repair parts ranging from rifle butts to tank engines. His unit supported the entire 25th Division, including South Korea, South Vietnamese, and 1st Cavalry units. Philip received the Army Commendation Medal, Vietnam Campaign Service Medals, and the National Defense Medal for his service in Vietnam. Philip's father suffered a life-threatening heart attack, and the Army allowed him to leave his unit to be with his dad. Philip was reassigned to Fort Devens and later was honorably discharged with the rank of First Lieutenant. Philip returned home and attended Northeastern University, where he earned an MBA in Small Business Management and a Massachusetts Master's Plumber's License. Philip operated the business for over 55 years, providing plumbing, heating, and lawn sprinkler service in Newton, Brookline, and the Needham area. Within 2 weeks of returning home from Vietnam, Philip proposed to the love of his life, Judy, and they have been married for over 56 years and raised 2 children, Barbara and Brad, who graduated from Newton Public Schools. In recognition of his service to the United States Navy, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Philip A. Samathmary. And last, and certainly not least, our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Giovanna DeVito, for service to the American United States Navy. Giovanna is a proud descendant of generations of DeVitos, right here in front of us, who have deep roots in Newton. Giovanna grew up in her family home on Walcott Street in Auburndale. She attended the Jackson School before matriculating into Windsor Academy. Giovanna chose to serve our country and graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 2020 with a bachelor's degree in quantitative economics. Upon commissioning, Giovanna attended Naval Flight Officer School for 1 year before transferring to Public Affairs Training School in 2021. She was next assigned to the Carrier Strike Group 11, based in Everett, Washington, where on board the U.S. Nimitz CN-68, she served as the Deputy Public Affairs Officer. Giovanna deployed to the Western Hemisphere, including Japan, Korea, Singapore, Hawaii, and the Bout. Giovanna's subsequent assignment was to the Naval Special Warfare Center in Coronado, California in 2022. Giovanna is currently assigned to the Pentagon. For the past 2 years, she has served as the Public Affairs Officer to the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. Giovanna loves to come home for a visit to see her parents and her grandparents here in Newton. She takes great pride in her father, Joe DeVito, who is the president of the Village Bank, and he also grew up in the Lake and attended Newton North High School. In recognition of her service to the United States, it is only fitting and proper that on behalf of all the residents of Newton, I, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller, express my gratitude and pay tribute to Lieutenant Giovanna DeVito. Commander, you may take your seat, and Madam Mayor, you may take yours as well. Before we have our closing ceremony this morning, we have some important recognitions to make. First, I will call upon the Sons of the American Legion, past Commander Paul Pascarosa and his committee. We have a special presentation to present to the Commander, Donnie Gentile.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate it. Hi, everybody. Last February, downstairs in the members' lounge, we decided that as beautiful as this building is, we needed to spruce it up a little bit. And we had several capital expenditures to deal with, totaling about $250,000. And so we decided that we would do a casino night here on October 17th. And we put a committee together, and we had pretty high aspirations for what we were going to raise. If anybody is on that committee in the room, could you please stand up, please? I'd like to recognize my committee members, President Cottons, the girls over there, Tom Mountain, Carol Pingree, Beth D'Amato. Thank you. Thank you. So when we decided to do this, it was 9 months in planning, from February to October. Someone can check my math. I think it's about 9 months. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into the program. We had aspirations for to raise a lot of money. And thanks to the generosity of Village Bank, who always comes through. By the way, I said to Seth, I said, that's a whole row you're reserving. Who's that for? He goes, the DeVitos, they're Italian. And Honda Village, which were primary underwriters for the program, we decided that we were going to move forward, and it was going to cost us $20,000 to put this thing on. $20,000 that we did not have. So we went out to the business community and looked to raise the money. And I'd like to invite Donna, Louise, and Carol Pingree up. These women were vital cogs in the wheel to make this thing happen. I will tell you this, that, and Bruce Caudill, I'm sorry. Come on up, you guys. Bruce, you stand right there. So we proceeded with the program, and we had this goal in mind, and we were very close to our goal. And then at the last minute, Sandy Young, who is seated off to my right, just came in with a $3,000 donation in honor of her mom, her deceased husband, Larry, and very touchingly, Eddie Warren, $3,000 donated by Sandy. So on behalf of the committee, it is our honor to present Commander Gentile with a check for $60,000. Beth, you got us? Fit us all in?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, wait, she wants to take a picture.
Okay, where?
Right there. Beth.
Beth.
We're all good?
Put the check down.
Thank you.
I just want to say something quick. 9 months ago, or whatever his math is, the first committee meeting, it was not a positive meeting. You know, there were a lot of people opposed to doing this. And until Paul went out, and I mean, he got every piece of information he could possibly get about the winnings and losings of running this, $20,000, which, as he said, we did not have at that time. And it was touch and go in the beginning, and then Paul just went out and went out and went out, probably badgered Village Bank a lot, but he did it. He did it. The committee, you know, we kind of followed Paul, and I want to personally thank Paul for running this. It was a great success.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't cash it for a couple of weeks. It's got to clear.
We will be closing briefly, but not just yet. Second, in keeping with the highest naval traditions, when an outgoing and incoming commander are exchanging command, it is only appropriate to stop and present gratitude for a job well done. Well, I'm a United States Marine, and a little pop quiz for everyone here. Do you know what the most important aspect of a quality ambush is? The surprise, yes. And Mayor Fuller surprised me last year. And while she might not be exactly surprised now, I'm sure there's a few of you in the room that are. So as I had alluded to earlier, Mayor Ruthanne Fuller is an incredibly proud Navy daughter. And as 8 years ago, when Eddie Warren was stepping away off to what his next accomplishments would be, the City of Newton and the Department of Veteran Services presented him with a folded flag of appreciation. And today, Sergeant Seth By, on behalf of the City of Newton and the Veteran Services Department, presents to the Honorable Ruthanne Fuller, our mayor, our beloved mayor, a proud Navy daughter, your adieu. And you can now take this folded flag with you for the rest of your days, and always remember and reflect kindly back on our positive experiences with our veteran community here in Newton. We look forward to seeing you back, possibly as a guest judge when we have Dancing with the Stars here. Okay? So again, to our beloved Honorable Ruthanne Fuller, fair winds and following seas.
You did surprise me.
I love you. This is for you. Okay, I had an announcement about the flag retirement, but Commander already passed that along, so I'll be caucusing with them and the Sons and the city and whatnot and the Elks for later on in 2026. Wendy did want me to make an announcement that if anyone had a specific veteran that they would like to send a care package to, you know, name and address and whatnot, you can go over and meet with her at the conclusion of the ceremony, and she would be happy to make sure that some of those items actually get to that airman, soldier, sailor, Marine forward deployed. And on that note, we will now call the room to attention as we will be playing taps on our conclusion. Present arms. Order arms. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony today. Please go forth. Make sure you contact a veteran in your family, in your neighborhood, friends of the family. Pay them some thank yous, give them a hug and a kiss. And again, please stick by for the donation drive. We've got more vittles and whatnot. And there are those beautiful, majestic Great Danes walking around. They'd love to get a picture with you. Thank you so much on behalf of the City of Newton. God bless. Have a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving.